All right, in this tutorial, we're going to go over how to solve equations by completing the solution. And really all this involves is using what's called a two-column proof to show any steps that you were taking to go from one line of thinking, one line of work to the next. So if you think of the left side is all of your steps, think of it as like showing your work. Let's erase that. That's a little bit better. And then the right side is your reasoning. Why did you do what you just did? Or what proof are you using? What theorem are you using? What definition are you using to go from one step to the next? So when completing these, you're really either going to be given one side is already done and you fill in the other side, depending on left or right. So this first one, you're given all of the steps or the reasons on the right side, and you have to fill in the steps on the left-hand side. So starting out with 6 times parentheses t plus 1 equals 18, and then all of a sudden it becomes a t plus 1, and the reason says is to divide both sides by 6. Now, in one of my previous tutorials, I told you that you have to take care of your parentheses first. Well, distribution is a form of multiplication, and the 6 is being multiplied by both the t and the 1. So the way you get rid of multiplication, instead of using the distributive property, you can also just divide by that number on both sides. And when you divide both 18 by 6 and the left side by 6, you get t plus 1 equals 3. Then your next reasoning to get to your final solution is to subtract 1 on both sides. So let's go ahead and do that. Minus 1. And 3 minus 1 gives you a solution of t equals 2. Okay, so now the next one, we're given all the steps with the exception of the final answer. And we have to provide the reasons on how we go from step A to step B and then on to C. So negative 10c minus 14 minus 7 equals 19. And then all of a sudden, the only thing that changes is this becomes a negative 21. So this negative 14 and this negative 7 get subtracted. Another way to say that is to combine like terms. All right, and then from here, the next step, the negative 21 is moved over to the other side, and the 19 becomes 40, so we are adding 21 to both sides. You do have to specify both sides, because the golden rule in algebra is whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other to make sure your equations stay balanced. And then from here, we are left on our own in order to determine the solution, but this negative 10 is being disappeared essentially, but nothing just disappears in math. You have to balance it out over on one side. So the opposite of to multiply is to divide both sides by the negative 10. And that is that final step. Divide both sides by negative 10. And when you divide both sides by negative 10, I'm going to write this under here because I ran out of room. C is going to equal a negative 4. All right, so just make sure you're providing your adequate reasons or your proof as to how you're getting from one step to the next.